At the end of World War II, the Korean Peninsula was divided at the 38th parallel between the two global superpowers, the Soviet Union in the north and the United States in the south. They both put governments that were in their own interests in the peninsula. Once the governments were set up by the Americans and Soviets, they moved out their militaries. Countries claimed that they governed all of the peninsula. When the North Koreans received the go-ahead from Stalin, they decided to attack, and the following what happened is the Korean War. So as you can see over here, Soviet Union here, and then countries they influenced. This is China, North Korea, South Korea. Put the US over here. Everyone in purple supported the United Nations attack against North Korea. Then we have people that sent medical support to South Korea that are in light blue. And then India sent medical supplies and other support to both sides, so they get their own color. Then this is the 38th parallel right here. As you can see, South Korea has some place cut off. Alright, and go to the map. So this is the beginning, this surprise attack. In June 1950, the North Koreans invaded South Korea, and then in September 1950, this is what it looked like. We had the South Koreans trapped in this corridor here, and the additional US troops were just about to come in. And when they did come in, they made a big push. From September to October 1950, the US and other UN forces counterattacked from this little area down here all the way up here. And they had a nice naval invasion at Incheon. Then this is their detailed attack. Naval invasion, took Seoul, joined up with the rest of the army, and headed up here. And now we get China intervening. From October to November 1950, Chinese troops entered Korea, forcing troops south. So as you can see, this is the UN retreat back to the south, and this was from November to December 1950. And then right here, sorry for that's really blurry, but you can see holes right here. It was about to counterattack, but before that, this is the extent down here of the communist advance in January 1951. And then the UN decided to counterattack, so pushed to this river over here, followed around up there, made sure they had Seoul back. And then the armistice was signed in July 1953, and this is where fighting ends, but there's no current peace deal set in place. The aftermath. Now that the two Koreas have been divided for 74 years and they have both drastically changed from each other. The North has had many famines and is very corrupt and restricts rights. The North also, instead of helping its own poor people, have decided that a nuclear program is the best investment, and now they have about 60 nuclear weapons according to the US. The South, on the other hand, has gone through many regimes, but has recently jumped to the 11th place in front of Russia for the top 20 GDP outputs. The South also have stuck to their ally the US and have become fully democratized too.